boyos.
Hello, boyos.
This is the Loner Games Cast, where we discuss that everything is video games. This week, we're going to be talking about more E3 stuff. A little bit of titties. We got quite a few titties here that may turn into something bigger. And we got some events. We got an Xbox extended E3 thing, and we have the NPD numbers this week as well for last month. My name is Nick. That over there, my trusty sidekick is Jacob. And yeah, sidekick. I just emoted you, bitch.
That's fine.
Bitch.
I like being a sidekick. Like
yeah,
Robin.
you like being Robin?
So
yeah, okay.
If you're Batman, do you go down?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, that's what heroes do.
That is what heroes do. God bless them.
God bless them. Yeah, so let's jump right into it. What have you been playing?
I've been playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which I haven't really had the chance to talk about on this show. Because last week was E3 and we just kind of hopped right into E3. But during E3, like in between conferences and post E3, I've been playing Ratchet and Clank, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. It's good. Is it my favorite Ratchet game? Probably not. I mean, it's like nothing's ever gonna top Going Commando. So okay, let me break it down. Okay,
break it down.
In 2016, we got the Ratchet reboot of sorts, where they dropped the movie and then they dropped the $40 game, and with that, they completely changed the feel and like tone of the games and the franchise. Whereas before it was kind of more of like teenage angsty, edgy sort of thing,
right.
Where the games were literally like Going Commando, up your arsenal, you know, a quest for booty. Like those were the title of the games.
Nice, yeah. Great, great like, puns and shit.
Yeah, and it was just stupid. And like Ratchet and Clank, they butted heads, and like there was a lot of sort of adult humor, but it wasn't like too adult that it was, you know, a rated M game. Where now it's almost like Pixar, I would say more DreamWorks. It's sort of like Shrek, because it does have like some jokes in it. Like it's like a Shrek, and I kind of prefer it the old way. And maybe that's just because that's what I grew up with.
Right. You could be just a jaded old man.
I could be. But the gameplay is still fun. Although I will say they changed a lot of the weapons, right? They got rid of a lot of classic weapons and replaced them with other weapons, some of which are complete ass. Specifically, there's a weapon called the Ricochet weapon that is just such dog shit. It's such dog shit that like the idea is that you shoot it out and it like shoots out, and then you click R2 again and it comes back and like re-hits the same guy.
Okay.
But sometimes it just gets stuck in the air and nothing happens, and it just sort of stays there, and you're like clicking R2 and like things are hitting you and you're like, come on, shoot, you stupid, like. And yeah, there's just some shit like that in the game.
That sounds like a bug,
yeah,
rather than like this gun is shit.
Well, yeah, but with the frequency that it happens, it feels more like a feature. So, you know, the thing with Ratchet and Clank is you got to level up all your guns, and that's kind of what your incentive is, to use different guns.
Right.
So yeah, I had just been using that weapon nonstop because I just wanted to level it up so I never had to use it again. So I guess I prefer some of the weapons in the older games, but like the game's really pretty. It's fun. I really like Rivet. She's cool. She does sound like Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob though, which is kind of annoying if I'm being honest. But she's cool. She's got earrings, and I appreciate that. She's got like the cool earrings. And then Ratchet has like a new Clank type character that I like as well. I can't remember their name. Kit.
Spoiler.
Kit. Yeah. Well, you get her right at the beginning of the game. It's basically like this is new Ratchet and Clank, but now Clank is with Rivet, and Ratchet has Kit, I
Yeah.
think. But it's cool. It's a pretty game, but it's also like hidden walls. This has kind of turned into a Ratchet and Clank review, but I'm feeling time.
We got nothing but time.
But you know, the secret areas in the original games, the PS2 games, right? There would be like golden bolts hidden everywhere, and there are golden bolts in this one, but they're like hidden in very obvious spots, whereas like in the original ones you'd have to like jump through some weird shit that doesn't even seem like you're able to go through it to get the golden bolt. So like instinctively I start doing that stuff in this game where it's like, oh, there's a weird roof there that looks like I can jump to it. Let me jump to it. Invisible wall. And you just hit
and then you fall to your death.
And there's just invisible walls everywhere. Volpinator, yeah. The topiary sprinkler is annoying as well. So like what that one does is it shoots grass on people and it like turns them into like grass.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just it's good. It's a fun game. I appreciate the use of the controller, and what's really impressive about it are the load times, like the instant load times. And like there's a feature, because like the whole idea is you're going through different dimensions, and like in one map you'll be switching between the two dimensions by hitting a crystal. So like, and it's instantaneous that you just like switch, the whole map just changes. Like it's really impressive and cool. And the things that they showed in the trailers where like you hook to the yellow thing, it feels just sort of like a swing shot. I don't know.
Right.
I don't really understand why. It's just there to look cool, I guess. But overall, pretty good game. I appreciate it. And right now, it's really the only game besides Returnal that makes the PS5 worth it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's one of the only like exclusives.
Yeah, it's like that and Returnal. Yeah. But you know, and I'm excited to see where this franchise goes from here. I haven't beaten the game yet, obviously. I will report back, but that's sort of my impressions of Ratchet and Clank. But that's all I've been playing. What you been playing, Nick?
What?
Oh, here we go. Volpinator. My biggest issue is that some of the weapons feel like a chore to level up. Yeah, for real. And that's always kind of been a thing, especially since the second Ratchet and Clank game, because that's when they added strafe, which kind of like made it so you just wanted to use the machine gun all the time. Just kind of turned it into a third-person shooter. So it always kind of felt like a chore, but the weapons were so cool and fun in those older games that like it didn't really matter much. But in this one, some of the weapons are pretty cool, but I'd say most of the weapons are pretty like, they almost seem like afterthoughts.
Yeah.
So
they kind of did that with like BioShock too. I feel like the way you're the way you're describing it makes it sound like BioShock. How like BioShock 1, you had like, you know, you get the power-ups and then your arms turned into like stuff, and like each one of them felt unique. Whereas like BioShock Infinite came out and it's like, well, you have this and you can like shoot it or you can place a trap. And that's pretty much all of it. Like there's a couple of like tangents on those, but most of like the power-ups that you get, it's either you shoot it or you put it on the ground and you wait for an enemy to hit you. And it's like, okay, well, I either shoot a green thing at this guy or I shoot a red thing at this guy, or I throw a green thing on the ground and wait for him to walk into it, or I throw a red thing in the ground and wait for him to walk into it. I feel like they just kind of took what made BioShock good and just kind of railroaded it into a basic ass, you know, a hallway shooter.
I want to shout out this this YouTuber. He's got I think he's called The Gaming Brit.
Okay.
And he's got this YouTube channel, and he does this video, and it's called How Ratchet and Clank Lost Its Edge. It's like this hour and 15-minute video that just like perfectly describes how I feel about the new games. Although he shits on the new games way more than I do, because I still enjoy these new games. but he
Right.
does a good job of expressing why I prefer the older
The old
games.
ones. Yeah.
Um,
He just does it more aggressively.
yeah, he's much more aggressive about it because I do still enjoy these games, and like,
They're just different.
they're different. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, I've been playing Magic. I know that's not a video game, but
Magic the
everything's a
Gathering.
video game. Magic the Gathering, a new set came out, and I drafted it, and it's fun. I won't get into it too much. Uh, I got Baja Blast all over some cards, but no big deal. Um, Other than that, I've been playing Overcooked 2, actually.
Oh yeah, you guys finally started playing, huh?
Yeah, me and the lady,
She convinced you.
she convinced me. I downloaded it and we started playing it. We're like on the sixth level or something, fifth level, something like that. And we're having a good time. And like there's certain maps that you're like, oh shit, I remember this one.
Yeah.
This one's fucking
What are you guys
hell.
playing it on?
Oh, the PS5.
PS5? Oh, dude, hit me
Yeah.
up. Hit me up sometime if you guys are playing and you're like, "Hey, Jake's
Yeah.
on. I'll play with you guys."
Because I heard you just beat it.
Yeah, I love
Like
that game
again.
though. I beat
Okay,
that
you'll
game
play it
twice
again.
now. I loved it so much.
Okay,
It's
cool.
just fun,
Cool. Yeah,
man.
we'll hit you up. I was if we get through it and we still have like the urge to keep going, I was thinking about like picking up the all you can eat
Mm,
whatever and
which
just getting all
includes
the DLC and all
and it
the
includes the first game too, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I'd be
Yeah.
down.
So
That'd
that'd be
fun.
cool. I hear it's pretty expensive though, so we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll probably go on sale at some point.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but other than that, not a whole lot. I've had like this hankering to play like Call of Duty though.
Mm.
Like just spend like 10-20 minutes in a couple matches of Call of Duty and play it. Like I just want that like mindless shooter. Um so probably either going to re-download Modern Warfare or pick up the new one so that I can play with you because I
Yes.
know you have it.
Oh
But
yeah.
oh yeah. And then I'll just totally make you look like a dummy
And our
and
friend Austin
really really shitty. Oh,
has
does he
it
have
as
it too?
it came with his PS5, so he does have it. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Maybe I will then. Maybe I
Yeah.
fucking will. Who knows?
I
That's
yeah.
about it.
I
It's been
wouldn't I wouldn't like, you know, if you got it, I wouldn't be mad, but I wouldn't be like, go spend $70, Nick. You should do it. Spend
yeah,
70
right.
bucks.
I get you. You're not urging me to do it. It's just
Yeah.
like if you got it, I'd play with you kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been kind of a lull week, honestly. After
Mhm.
E3, everything just kind of died. We got a couple of little things here and there. But mostly it's just like excitement for what's coming up and you know,
Yeah, I was
um,
wondering if we have time at the end, if we should talk about some like EA predictions, maybe some Sony
ooh,
predictions.
yeah, because when is that supposed to happen? That's like the
I don't know.
17th of next month or something like that.
EA, what would it be called? Press
Play.
conference?
It's Play. EA
EA,
Play.
but that's also their thing. It's very
What?
confusing. That's also their like, isn't that their like service as well?
Maybe.
Here we go. EA Play will reportedly announce revival of fan favorite series. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see a date on it. It's July something. It just says in July.
that's all it says.
July 22nd.
22nd. So we got like a month before we figure this out because it's the 21st right now. So yeah, just a month
Yeah,
before
just
we
figured
got
we if we have extra time, which we might, we could
yeah,
maybe talk about it. Because
yeah, for sure.
a big thing, maybe we start this with the titties. You want to announce the titties?
Yeah, I'll do the titties.
Here,
Get,
I'll add it to the end of the titties here.
okay. We'll dive right into the titties. Here we go. Um, Titties are just little tidbits of little news nuggets. I like that too. News nuggets is pretty good.
News nuggets. News
Yeah,
nuggets.
news nuggets. It's little news nuggets that we are just like I don't know if we have a lot to talk about, but we'll add it because it's interesting. Um, Apparently Windows 11 got leaked. I'll
True.
say that again. Windows 11 got leaked. You know, they said that when they released like Windows 10 and like, 5 years after,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, this is the last one and we're just going to update this one.
Yep.
They fucking lied.
Yeah.
They fucking
I
lied.
was kind of I had been anticipating Windows, a new Windows, but for it to just be called Windows, you know?
Right. And
Like
then
if they
just
were to
that's
make
it.
another one, I thought they would have just been like it's Windows. But apparently this is supposed to or this is supposed to be announced sometime this week.
This week, really.
Yeah, yeah, that's the rumor.
I didn't see this rumor, but it's on the docket, so I gotta say it. Uh,
It's
um,
real. I don't know.
uh, yeah,
I
or you
can't
could be
imagine it's
lying.
gonna make much of a difference to 10
No,
at
no.
first.
Like I feel like you could go either way. You could be like you go to the store. I don't know if you do this still. You go to the fucking Best Buy and you're like, I would like to purchase Windows 10.
I think it's
And then
still
you
a
pick
thing,
up
yeah.
like the CD, the disc, but I haven't fucking installed uh operating system in a very long time. So I don't know how it's done anymore. Thumb drive? Is it all thumb drives now? I don't know.
It's
Again, cloud. It's all
probably
cloud.
thumb drives or yeah, probably just thumb drives.
Like yeah,
It's already
because
installed on hard drives or whatever.
yeah, like you can't get one without having Windows. Like why do they sell it without it? Just sell it with the fucking software. I
I
don't
think
get it.
most pre-builts do come with Windows installed.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But motherboards, I'm talking motherboards. You buy a motherboard, why doesn't it already come pre-installed?
Well,
I will
because
never understand.
because Windows isn't stored on a motherboard. It's stored in your hard drive.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Son
Yeah.
of a bitch. I'm an idiot. See, this is why I can never do PC gaming.
It's too much. It
It's
is.
too much, man. It's too expensive to start. And then, I don't mind like upgrading and shit. Like you buy a case that's big enough to last you for a while. It's like, oh, my motherboard's old. I got to switch it for another one, and then you just take everything off, put it back on. Um, and then it's just like, okay, that was like $200, right? But starting off is like, you got to spend $25,000, 25,000, $2,500.
Holy shit.
I'm building a quantum computer. Yeah, no, $2,500, and then it's that's a lot to just have a machine. You don't have any, monitors. You don't have any peripherals. You don't have any of this. Like, you got to buy all that shit. And it's like, oh man, that's a lot of money for just a box. Um,
Yeah.
so it's jumping
And
into it's hard, but then
PS5
maintaining it,
is
I feel like is
500
going to
and
be
came
easy.
with a controller,
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
And a lot of heartache to get it. But
And most people
but
already have TVs, not monitors. So
right, yeah.
that's also like a huge hurdle that you got to jump through.
Yeah, and people aren't bit mining with PS5s, so they're
Not yet.
slightly easier to get than like 3020s and shit like that. Or 3020,
3020s.
3090s. I don't know, I said 20. Anyway, next little titty. We got GTA PS3, Xbox 360 servers will shut down December 16th, 2021. When I wrote this little titty, I I'm like, does that say Xbox 360? Like I was typing and I'm like, Xbox? And I had to like double check and it's like, yeah. So the servers for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 are still running? That just blows my mind. Like those consoles they feel so old, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean. For some reason, the 360 feels even older than the PS3.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
about
Like,
it.
well, I think I know why. I think it's because me and you owned a 360 before we had a PS3. We made like a midway switch to the
Yeah.
PlayStation. But I remember like going over to your apartment and we would just LAN 360 with like two TVs back to back and then
So much
360s
Saints
hooked
Row,
up.
dude.
So much Saints Row 2. And it's like, wait, this is still going on. GTA released on the 360 and the PlayStation 3. It just blows my mind. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
it's surprising. Well, it's not surprising that they're shutting down the servers, but also it
no,
makes
not at all.
sense that the servers are still running because, I mean, the game launched there, and
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest games ever. Apparently, a lot of the Call of Duties still run on there, so
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm sure we're gonna see like all of them shut down relatively soon.
Yeah.
It's interesting. This is like the first console cycle that we're seeing a full console start to just wind down because like before, like with the PS2, there was no like online connectivity, you
Right.
know, and
Yep.
if there was, it was very limited. So like this is the first time we're seeing a console like kind of lose all of its features, which
Yeah.
is kind of weird to think about. Like we're gonna see that with the PS4.
It's going
Like
into
it's
it's
weird.
going into an elderly house, you know. It's like, okay, grandpa, we got to put you in this home so somebody can take care of you while you die.
Well, and when
Um,
this happens with the PS4, like, dude, the PS4 is gonna be worthless because like most of the games don't even run without
yeah,
some sort of connectivity. So
they
it's
have that
weird.
DRM, I think.
Well, there's that, and then also like on PS3 you could just plop a disc in and it would work for the most part.
Right.
Nowadays, that's not the
That's
case.
not the case. Yeah, it's your disk is all it's doing is proving that you have access to the digital game, you know?
Yeah, it's basically a
Yeah.
CD key. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a CD key in the form of a CD. Yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting. It is. Next little thing, Cyberpunk 2077 is back on the PlayStation Network store at a reduced price of $50. It also on the PlayStation 4, it has a warning that's like, "Hey, you shouldn't play this here. You should get a Pro or a PlayStation 5 to play it." Um, Figured I'd put that in here.
I think it's.
Uh,
I do have something to say about it.
all right.
I think it's weird as fuck that they're even putting it back on the store. I feel like just drop the PS5 version and call it a day.
Yep. I
Don't even
feel like
drop the PS4 version. If it's not going to run
I
on the PS4, why even?
I feel the same way. It's just like don't release it until you have the PlayStation 5
Yeah.
update. You know, that's it. It's just like, okay, yeah, come back when you have shit for the next console, you know, because
Yep.
this is just clearly not running for like their biggest mistake, I think, was the fact that they wanted to put it on uh nine areas, nine consoles. What do you call that? What's the word I'm missing here? Nine
Iterations?
platforms. They
Platforms?
wanted to put it on nine platforms, and I think that was just too big of a bite to chew. You know, they just choke on their own ambition, um, and it's just like, yeah, that was a Star Wars reference, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
I
you
got it.
got it. I saw you smile a little bit. So yeah, I fuck it. Don't buy this game. This game's shit. Um, and it probably will be shit until they do something to fix it. Doesn't look like they have really much going on. Anyway, next thing, Cawthon, Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, he resigns due to being Republican in creative media. That's what I put. Um,
It's a bit more
so
involved than that, but yeah.
yeah, so apparently he was like giving donations to Republican candidates such as like Donald Trump and
Mitch
probably
McConnell.
Mitch McConnell and stuff like that. And people found out about it and they pretty much canceled him. And before he really got canceled, they're like, he's just like, you know what, I'm resigning, and somebody that I trust is going to take over. Um, yeah,
My main takeaway from this is, well, first of all, I'm surprised he would make those kind of donations. Like cuz the thing about Five Nights at Freddy's, at least in my experience, is a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's community are LGBT. Like a lot of people who play Five Nights are like part of that community, you know? Like it's pretty big in the LGBT community, at least in my experience. That's anecdotal evidence, but so it's just sort of surprising that that is what he would decide to do, but that's what he decided to do.
but
Um
the one of the biggest things is like, okay, so the way this country is built is, you know, you're supposed to separate religion from politics, which we have no fucking idea how to do that. It hasn't happened yet. Um, but with that idea, you know, you separate politics with religion. It's like your religion should have nothing to do with how you do politics, right?
You about to
So I
compare
feel
Five Nights to a religion, or?
well, no, I wasn't going to, but I could. I guess somebody could make that argument. But no, like what I'm saying is like
I
he
worship
he
the little
makes
teddy bear.
video games, right?
Hmm.
He created a video game that has nothing to do with politics, and just so happened that like the LGBT community picked it up and they liked it. In your experience, anecdotal experience, um,
Right.
and he had nothing to do with that. He just made a game and released it. Whatever. It shouldn't really matter at all what his political views are because their causation does not equal correlation. You know, like it has
Sure.
nothing to do with what the game is. It's just his opinions, and I feel like that's
I
kind of
I guess,
it
but
would
like
be shitty if somebody canceled him. You know.
I guess, but like in the same token, yeah, the whole like death of the artist or whatever, separate art from the artist or whatever. And yeah, I can get behind that. If you play Five Nights at Freddy's, I don't think this takes away from the game per se. But
Right.
and the reason it's not like, they forced him out, although they kind of did. He the company was probably like, you should just step down, dude. Um,
But like he didn't like tweet anything like racist or
but
you know.
here's the thing though. Donating to Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump is actively working against the LGBT community. And that's not just like, oh, I'm a Democrat, so I hate Republicans. Like straight up, dude. Like the Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are actively taking steps against like all of these communities, specifically the trans community and like
Right.
and the gay community. Like I mean, like, yeah, I don't know, man. I get it. Like if I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, so I don't really give a fuck. But like,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I get it. I do understand why people would be upset by that.
It's a PR thing. That's all it is. It's a public relations issue. And
Yeah. Well, and it wouldn't be. I wouldn't have an issue if he donated to the Republican Party if the Republican Party didn't suck so much. That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
that's one thing. Yeah, but it's just because Democrats play video games and Republicans don't.
They
It's
do though. They do.
I know, I know, and it's just one of those
They
things.
just play
Just look
Call of
at
Duty. That's all.
Colin Moriarty, who's
Yeah.
obviously Republican, but
Well,
he's very strongly opinionated, and
he likes to say he left the Republican Party when Trump was, but he still holds those same beliefs. So anyway,
right.
this is
So
not.
I'm just saying separate the art from the artist is all, and then you won't have an issue. If you like the art, you buy the art. Who the fuck cares where it came from? You
Well, I
know?
think that's easier when the artist, and that's the whole thing with like the death of the artist. That's easier to do when the artist is no longer associated with the art, right? Where like you look
Right.
back at a piece of art and it's like, oh shit, this was
Hitler
written.
drew this.
Yeah, Hitler drew this. But you could separate it now because it's like, okay, well, me enjoying this piece of art doesn't boost this person at all. They're dead or whatever.
But
But
and
this is
on that,
still boosting this guy's life. And if you're like a trans person and this guy is donating to anti-trans, people, like I could understand. It's just like when Chick-fil-A was donating to like the anti-gay stuff, and like people were like, yeah, don't eat at Chick-fil-A, but we all still eat
right.
at Chick-fil-A. But
I don't fuck Chick-fil-A. That place is disgusting.
I
But
like
that's
their
another.
nuggies.
The nuggies are pretty okay, but it's so expensive for little tiny nuggies.
Yeah,
Anyway, but yeah, I think that's the consumer's problem,
right.
It's just like, okay, you don't like the business practices, you don't have to buy from this guy. And I
Correct.
feel that way with a lot of things. Like I don't buy iPhones because I feel like they're shit and they
Hmm.
charge way too much, and it's like all of these features that should be on an iPhone aren't, and I am paying a premium for that. I don't like that. So I won't buy iPhones. It's the same sort of situation,
Hmm.
but it's one level deeper. It's like, oh, this guy hates gays. I'm not saying he does. I'm just exaggerating. This guy hates gays, so I'm not going to buy his
Probably
product. And
does.
that's totally fair. Well, that's totally fair for them. But if this guy decides to keep doing business, I don't think you can blame him, even though he
Right,
hates gays.
right. But he's the
You
one
know,
who
you can
resigned. So
right, you can blame him for hating gays. You can hate the guy, but you can't be like, oh, he should stop his business because he hates the gays. That's
well,
just not.
yeah,
That's very
and
insensitive in a shitty way.
and I see here he was doxxed, which is not cool, and like, death threats are never cool. Like nothing is cool, but like criticism is totally fair game, I think. So like
Right.
I think it's
Right. Yeah.
totally fair to come out and be like, yeah, this guy's a piece of shit for donating to Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump or whatever.
Right. And
Um,
I would say the same thing,
and
but
him resigning probably does have to do with this backlash. I mean, like as far as like maybe the company was like, hey, maybe you should just step down. It could also be because he's like, I just don't want to be part of the public platform anymore, and he made $1 gajillion. So
yeah,
here it
and
is.
he's like, I'm tired of getting death threats. You know,
I actually, uh, I've got some quotes here from him if we want to hear those.
quotes. What do you mean?
He put out some statements,
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
kind of lengthy.
Let's turn this into a big titty.
Yeah, why not? I mean, we got nothing else to talk about. For those who took the time to look, you saw that candidates I supported, including men, women, white people, black people, Republicans, and Democrats, I supported. I'm not going to read all of this. And then he just went on to say, I'm Republican, I'm a Christian, I'm pro-life, I believe in God, I also believe in equality and in science and in common sense. Despite what some may say, all of those things can go together. That's not an apology or a promise to change. It's the way it's always been. If I get canceled, then I get canceled. I don't do this for the money anymore. I do it because I enjoy it. If people think I'm doing more harm than good now, then maybe it's better that I get canceled and retire. I would accept that. I've had a fulfilling career. Besides, most things that people can take from you are things that never had much value to begin with. And that's a decent statement, I guess. Like
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like people don't like me. That's they're right.
I mean, he's getting out in front of it. He's not
Well,
like
and he's also like made a good $1 gajillion already, so I'm sure it's no skin off his back.
it's almost like the guy who made Angry Birds or Flappy Bird, sorry.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
guy who made Flappy Bird and people send him death threats because he wasn't making a second one. He's like, all right, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
screw you guys. I'm just done. I made so much money. I don't need to do this anymore. I'll just coast. Because honestly, that's probably what I would do. If you make $1 gajillion, you're like, I don't need to do anything else. Coast.
Yeah. True. Yeah, he doesn't seem like a horribly bad person or anything. Just,
He just has his opinions and
they're bad. That's all.
they're out there. I don't even say they're bad. They're just out
They are.
there. And
They
he's
are.
made them public and that's not good to do in a position where you
Yeah, that's
have to.
why I was saying, like, if he's Republican and he votes one way or the other, I don't really give a shit. It's the fact that he like donated money. It's just sort of a weird move as like a head of a company to make some sort of political stance like that. Because
Right. Yeah.
it's not people canceling him because he's political. He's the one who made it political, right? By making those
Right.
donations. So
Yeah, he could have donated anonymously if he wanted to.
yeah, true. So
So,
yeah,
yeah.
that's that.
That's that. PlayStation Experience has been patented by Sony. I don't know what the fuck that means, but
Do you remember the PlayStation Experience?
I do.
Yeah, yeah. An old
I've never been.
Yeah, but they stopped doing them in 2017, I think.
Has it really been that long?
It's been that long, and I think that's why this is kind of a big deal, and why when people see this, people kind of freaked out about it, because we haven't had a PlayStation Experience in, 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
What people are thinking is like, well, maybe since they don't do E3 anymore, they, instead of doing a state of play, they'll have a big event called the PlayStation Experience around that summer release time. So what people are expecting is like in the next month or two that they'll do a thing called the PSX, and then maybe in future years they'll actually do a actual in-person PlayStation Experience, or maybe they'll do a PlayStation Experience later this year when things clear up a little, hopefully.
Yeah. Or when
God-
they have something
God
to talk
permitting.
about. Maybe they just
Yeah.
don't have anything to talk about. But
I think
it's
they
kind
go ahead. Sorry.
it kind of goes hand in hand with like the EA Play event,
Yeah.
because like EA broke off of E3 and we're like, okay, where the fuck are they? And then they didn't show up for a while, and then they're like, okay, we're doing our own thing called EA Play right across the street and around the same time. So it's like, yeah, maybe Sony's just gonna, try to
Do that.
outdo the E3 by doing their own shit and having people try to steal people away from E3. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what people are gonna find probably this year is being separated from E3, like EA and potentially PlayStation. I'm sure they're gonna do some sort of thing where they talk more about Horizon and that release date and maybe factions, maybe a trailer for God of War or something. They have to do something, right? If Horizon's coming out this year, they've got to put a release date on it. But like I think what people are going to find with EA doing their own thing and then PlayStation doing their own thing is that those are going to get far more attention than what they would have if they were bunched in with all the shit at E3.
You think so?
I
think
think
I think E3 is a great spot to be
I think it's
because
great for a game like Returnal, or a game, or not Returnal. What was that game?
Hades,
I can't remember the game.
Riders Republic.
The really cool looking 2D game that they showed at Xbox.
Oh, Replaced.
It's a great place for a game like Replaced, or Hades, or like these smaller games. But for someone like EA or PlayStation, they're the ones that people's eyes are there for in the first place, and why a game like Replaced gets seen. So
But
like Sony
then,
and EA
yeah.
going off and doing their own thing just brings more attention to them without all the baggage of Xbox and
Right, but
Ubisoft
in
and
that
Square
same
Enix, and they're not competing to be the best conference because they're the only conference.
in that same regard, though, using the same argument, they're leaving, and now all we have at E3 is Xbox, right? So
Right.
far, because Xbox sucked, consumed Bethesda. So now all we have like at EA is Xbox and I guess Nintendo at the end. So the only reasons you're watching are to see what Xbox and Nintendo have. So those two are the only two boosting up these little guys. If they leave, then we're just going to have E3, the indie showcase, and who's going to watch that? I mean, people will, but not as many people
I'm
as the people who are looking for the next Call of Duty, or, oh, what's the next FIFA game going to look like? So
yeah.
it's going to be
Well, I'm not
harder for those
I'm not
those
going to
little guys.
disagree with you there, because that's true. And that's why E3 rules, is because you get to see these smaller games that you normally otherwise wouldn't have. But
Right.
I don't think that takes away from my first point. And this is capitalism, baby. They don't give a fuck. Like they're like, Replaced would be shown at the Xbox conference either way. But yeah, I think maybe I don't think, now that Xbox is kind of the big dog at E3, I think they're just gonna
It's just their show.
yeah,
at this
it's
point.
just the Xbox fucking showcase now. And
Mhm.
Square Enix and Ubisoft are going to continue to go there because it's like we're on Ubisoft platforms. And Nintendo's like,
Right.
we've been doing a digital conference forever anyway. We'll just keep doing that. So like I don't
Yeah.
think E3 is going to change. But like yeah, as far as Sony goes, Sony's like, why do I have to compete with Xbox? I don't need to. We can do it a month later. No one will give a shit.
I do. I want to see all that shit
I know.
right away.
Me too.
Rank them all. Have a good weekend with the boys.
Me too, but we're
And
going to be just as excited when they do it in July,
It's true. It'll be a secondary thing.
Yeah.
It won't be as long, but it'll be a secondary excitement, high,
Yeah.
I suppose.
So I don't know. That's kind of my thought process on it, and I understand why they do it. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's how they did it. If like PSX now becomes their summer conference, instead of their, because that used to happen, like, that was the big winter kind of conference, and
Right.
it's like an end of the year sort of extravaganza, just celebrating PlayStation and talking about the things that have already been announced for the next year or whatever.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. This next thing, I'm gonna move to news because I have quite a bit to say about it. So we're gonna move on to events instead.
Okay. Okay.
Um, there are the events last week, last Thursday. We had an Xbox extended conference. Things to note that happened. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, a saga in the making behind the scenes trailer was revealed. Um, Xbox Design Lab is back for the Xbox Series X generation. That's the controller thing. And they showed off Scarlet Nexus. Um, yeah, so the way that this one worked was it was kind of like how I was saying it was going to be. They were going to show off a game and then like do a deep dive with the developer and ask questions and stuff like that. So you had Paris, who
I
if you
love him.
haven't,
I
I
love
love
him, dude.
Paris, dude. If you haven't checked out Paris, dude, his stuff is really good. He's a big old black man with a deep voice and he's really friendly and yeah, he's a great dude. Check out his stuff. But he hosted this and he asked some good questions and made some like cringe. There was some cringe moments with taking off glasses there, but it was hilarious.
I loved it.
And
My hope with Paris, just real
mhm.
quickly, not to cut you off, but my hope with Paris is that Paris becomes like the new Major Nelson, you know? Like he's the
Major
replacement.
Nelson still exists.
I know he does, but he's old, okay? Like
Yeah,
let's give it to Paris, dude. Paris becomes the new Xbox man, and he just
that would
becomes
be cool.
the big Xbox shill, and I would love it, and I'm okay with it cuz Paris is a cool guy.
He is a cool guy. He deserves more, honestly.
He seems
Um,
nice.
yeah.
He's over at Kind of Funny. He's doing all right.
Is he?
Yeah, he does the Xbox show for Kind of Funny.
Oh, okay.
He's doing okay.
Yeah. So I caught a little bit of this. I was at work for most of it, and I saw bits and pieces on break. So if you have anything that you want to dive into, um, feel free. The floor is yours, sir.
I think this is exactly how you do it. Okay, you have the big conference where you just announce all the things, and then you get rid of all the drivel, and then all the drivel is moved to this extended conference. So like people like me and you who are like obsessed with video games and video game news, we can watch this because I just had it on in the background and it was nice to listen to for like 2 hours or whatever. But for the normal person, it's like, okay, this is just them going into more details of the games that they showed at the first conference. Aside from Hellblade, where they're just like, hey, we're still working on this shit and it's fucking dope. Yeah, it does look cool. Also, they showed off Design Lab, which I'm glad it's back. I'm excited. I wish PlayStation had this. I want to go make a controller right now. But yeah,
I was
I think
actually
this is
in
the
the
way.
design lab
This is the way to
not
do
too
it.
long ago, and I'm like, I gotta get one because I want to make a PC and I want to build a PC, and like Xbox is just so much easier to connect
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
PC than a PlayStation. So I was in it and I'm like messing around and I'm like trying to make a PlayStation looking like an OG PlayStation looking controller. I'm like, this would be funny, but their buttons are all weird. I like it. It's cool. I wish there was like more options for like a gradient maybe or like different materials. So like shiny, matte, glossy, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think that the real appeal of Design Lab is it's a custom controller and it's not like super expensive, It's
it's
decent.
$70.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's decently priced. That's like the cost of a video game, you
Yeah.
know. I think it
Yeah,
costs
it's
more if you
not
get
bad.
something like inscribed on it or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
if they start adding that shit, then you're going to get into the price range of what those pro controllers cost, which
Right.
it would be really cool if you could do a Design Lab with a pro controller. I know that's going to cost like
Yeah, that would cost
$200 or
so
whatever,
much money.
but that'd be sick as fuck for, the rich folk out there.
Yeah. But I agree with you that this is how it should be. Because E3 it was all digital event. Usually it's not a digital event. I feel like this extended conference was just the panels that you would go to if you were at E3. It was like, okay,
Yeah,
so
true.
you watch the conferences and then they have panels that are in different conference rooms, and then you're like, I want to learn about Hellblade 2. There's a panel at Hellblade 2 at 2:30. I want to go look at that. And it's just a guy talking for 30 minutes about like, yeah, this is what we're doing, this is where we're doing, this is what we're using to do this, and it's more information, not necessarily for like the general public, but it's for us nerds, like you said. It's just like, oh hell yeah, we get excited about like, look at this rock, look at the texture on this rock that we've
Yeah,
been,
yeah.
look at the lighting, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. This game's gonna look really dope. But yeah, it's stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all the the marketing drivel and all that stuff. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if you remember this, like during E3 a few years ago, 2019 was the last one, and before Jeff Keighley cut ties with E3, he used to do a thing all week called the E3 Coliseum, where
yeah,
he would bring people in
yep,
and do interviews. It was kind of like that, and
yeah, it
but
kind of was.
but instead of Jeff Keighley, it was Paris, which was cool. And maybe Paris will take over for the E3 Coliseum next year, which would be cool.
And honestly, it was a little less cringe than the Coliseum.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah, because
remember
Jeff
some of
is
the
a little,
people.
he's a little weird when he interviews people. Yeah.
He's just so open to everything. Like
Dude,
that's
you remember the Todd Howard Elon Musk
yep, I do.
classic?
And
That was a
Todd
classic.
Howard, Elon Musk, and I think it was
How long
Phil
have you guys
Spencer, wasn't it?
how long have you guys been friends? Yeah, yeah, like they weren't friends at
They
all.
weren't friends at all. Yeah,
No,
not at
It
all.
was Jeff Keighley. It was Jeff Keighley interviewing Elon Musk and Todd
Interviewing
Howard.
the two of them.
Because
I
that was
swore there was a
before
third person in there.
that was before the Xbox merger.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
God, that was so cringe. I'm like, oh
So
hell yeah,
cringe.
we got to watch Todd Howard, who I despise, and Elon Musk, who is, I won't say anything. Um, talking together. I'm like, this is gonna be so weird, and it was. It was very weird and very awkward, but in like a bad way almost. It was just like, I can't watch this. It's so awkward. And Jeff Keighley's like, oh, that's so great, guys. This is so great. I can't believe it. And you're like, oh god, dude, this is not.
Yeah, because they put
You're,
Skyrim in a Tesla or something, right? Like,
it's something like that. Yeah, I think Elon was just around the neighborhood, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll jump in and talk to Todd Howard, I suppose. Um, yeah, this is the way to do it. I
yeah.
really enjoyed it for what I did see.
I
Um,
threw in Scarlet Nexus there because they showed off a little bit of Scarlet Nexus, and that game just
it
looks really awesome.
it does look awesome, but it's very Japanese, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it.
It's very Japanese, but like I'm kind of into that.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about that game.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
much like a role playing game for sure, which I'm
mhm,
all about. So
yeah. Um, yeah, I wish Paris all the best, and I hope
hope you
he goes
recover
on to.
soon.
Yeah, yeah. Hope he recovers soon. Get well soon, Paris. You're gonna be the next Major Nelson. Um, yeah. Let's move on to the news. I moved that one down.
News.
This comes from International Business Times. This is an article I found by Mark Santos. He says Electronic Arts reportedly reviving an old IP. Rumors of a potential reviver of an old EA game IP is currently floating around the internet, and many fans are speculating on which one of Electronic Arts' many canceled titles are going to get a second shot at a new series. I'm gonna stop right there and say we've already gotten an announcement for that, and it was Skate 4.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just Skate 4, but I'll go into more detail. EA Motive, the studio behind Star Wars Squadrons, which isn't that great, and 2017's Star Wars Battlefront 2, alongside DICE, is reportedly working on one of EA's previously canned games, according to VGC. Nothing else is known about the game. This might be another me other than rumor that a new game will be revealed on EA Play, which is scheduled for July, which we were just talking about. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to break this down and like get into speculation on what this canned game could be, because EA has so many fucking canned games. I know you wrote Dead Space on here, and that excites me because I'm like, fuck yeah, it could be Dead Space, and people have been asking for Dead Space for a long time. But
That's a big rumor.
it
Yeah.
also makes me very nervous because it's EA and Dead Space is like dear to my heart, and I don't want them to fuck it up any more than they have already. If they did like a imagining, or not reimagining, but like a remake of it, just
I
upscaled the first and second one.
here's the title from an article from Video Game Chronicles. EA's IP revival is reportedly a Dead Space reimagining.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
I mean, reimagining though. I don't know if that's a good thing. Again, remake would be good. HDified would be good.
Yeah, it's just weird because Visceral doesn't exist anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're getting Skate 4. They revived that. But also it could be that Star Wars project that they canned with Amy Hennig.
The Visceral game, yeah.
The other one. Yeah, the other Visceral game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So who knows? Because
It could be. It could be. And what this is really making me think, sorry if you were still going.
No,
but,
that's fine. That's fine.
What I was thinking is like, I think EA's like little conference next month might be a little bit of a banger. Like,
Well, you would hope so. You would fucking
like,
hope so.
well, because normally in EA play, I expect to see like Madden and some other bullshit, maybe the Battlefield game,
Apex.
But
Yeah.
this year it kind of seems like we're gonna get that new Battlefield, which everyone's kind of hyped on. We're gonna get Skate, hopefully, maybe just like an update. That game's not coming out anytime soon, but
No,
maybe
no.
just like an update, like, hey, we're making progress. And
Hey, we have the start screen.
but then
There you go.
we've also already heard of a new Mass Effect being worked on. We've already heard of, and now this rumor of a new Dead Space game and like potentially a new Battlefront game. Like they could have like a pretty decently sized conference.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get my hopes up, because here's the thing with EA is like EA has been eating shit for like the past almost 10 years now. And like, yeah, EA's huge and they make lots of money, but I think they're at the point now where they kind of want to start thinking about their brand a little bit and how to save their brand. Because I mean, like, the last Battlefield, not greatly received. Battlefront 2, not greatly received.
Terrible launch.
All the stuff with like FIFA and Madden has been getting a lot of hate. But lately we've seen things like, the new Mass Effect remasters. Those just came out. And then like the It Takes Two was EA, and like, they're starting to maybe play around in some new fields here. So I don't know.
EA is just so bizarre.
They're a
with
weird company. Yeah.
Their IPs, because they'll do FIFA and the football games, and they'll just completely shit the bed with like, we're literally just taking the same game and putting 21 at the end of it, like, and we're not doing anything with this game. And then they release something like Apex that just blows the fuck up, or Titanfall 2, and they shit the bed with that,
Well, and even Jedi Fallen Order, as much as I don't like that game, was a pretty huge, successful single player game for them,
Yeah, it was. And I feel like that game was rushed as well. And I think EA gets too much credit for that rushed game. I'm not going to say more about it. I love Respawn, but
God bless Respawn, yeah.
They definitely fucking rushed that game.
Oh yeah. But it's pretty good considering it's rushed.
Yeah, I mean,
they did.
Dude, you got people at Respawn who've made like Titanfall 2, which is on par with like Call of Duty 4 back in the day,
Lime cucumber Gatorade.
I've had that. It's
pretty good. Sorry.
Yeah. Sponsored, by the way. Yeah, they're just such a weird company, and I never know what to expect with them, because they could like release something and you'd be like, wow, they ruined this, like Anthem. Like Anthem was a dope ass game.
That's another game.
I know, it's like, this game is so fucking cool. It's such a cool idea. It's like third person Destiny, and they just shit the bed with it. And it's like, we canned it. Like, oh my god, fucking can this game? You could have made it better, and you just chose not to. And then they turn around and make like It Takes Two, or publish It Takes Two, and you're like, fuck, dude, this game's good. Yeah, you
Yeah, and
know,
they did the
like,
Unraveled games. Yeah,
yeah, and it's just like, what? How do they choose? Like, how is it like? How are they this far black and white? There's no like gray area for them. It's like you
right.
either shit or it's really good. And I feel like that's just the company that this is, and it sucks because you
Yeah,
have to wait.
it's almost like they have to like work really hard to like rebuild their brand a bit, and then when people are starting to like sleep on how horrible of a company they are, then they start to coast again, and then
Yeah.
it's just like this pattern that EA goes through. But no matter what, Madden and FIFA are gonna be shit forever. I really wish that they would like take a break from Madden and like make it a good game, because like I'm a football fan, and like I would love a good football game, but like
Oh,
man,
you like the pig ball?
I like the pig ball. I like the skins. I like it when those big men, you know, grab
Run
each
into
other.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Yeah. Get all
All
oiled
right.
up and stuff.
That's all we got. We got MPD numbers if you have nothing else to say on that. No? Okay. Yeah, well, we got the MPD numbers from last month, the month of May. These are the top 20 games.
Oh, it's actually 10.
Oh, no, you're right. Well, I mean, there's 20 games here, but it's top 10 games for that month. And number one
The chart I
is
took it from had 20 games, but I cut off 10 of them because I
I
just
see.
wanted the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number one is new last month. Resident Evil Village.
God
Number one.
bless.
Sold the most. Capcom, raking it in, my guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Number two, MLB The Show 21. Of course, that game is super good. Number three, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Can't go wrong with it. Number four, new Pokemon Snap. Weird, but whatever.
More like Pokemon crap, am I right?
Pokemon crap. I hear it's good, but it's just not for me. It's for those casual gamers or young babes.
I hear it has a new camera mode. I sure hope it does.
I sure hope it does. Number five is Mortal Kombat 11. I don't know how old this game is, but I feel like it should not be up there. Number six is Mario Kart 8. Speaking of old games that we should really stop buying, Mario Kart 8, number six, somehow. Number seven is Returnal.
Wow.
Good. Yeah.
Boosted
Still
up
there.
for some reason.
Yeah, well, it was slow. People, I don't know, it was slow.
Just wanted a game, I guess.
They
Yeah.
just wanted a game. Number eight is Animal Crossing. That boosted up for some reason too. That was 15 in April. So it boosted up to number 8. Stop buying these games. Number 9 is Minecraft. Makes sense. But
That's random too.
published by multiple video game manufacturers. That always gets me. And then this one's even weirder. Freaking number 10 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. What? How did that get back up there? That's crazy.
You know what's surprising to me about this list is that MLB The Show is totally dominating Call of Duty Black Ops, dude.
It is.
Like it has been for a while now.
Yeah, it's been up there.
It's crazy.
But then
I wonder
but then,
at the end of the year if MLB The Show is just gonna like overtake Black Ops at some point.
But then you look at the year to date, which is the next list that I'm going to get into, and you realize that number one is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Right, because
So
it's had more time than
it's had more time, but it's also still Call of Duty.
it is.
But then you also see
That's surprising.
number two is Resident Evil Village, which just surpassed MLB The Show 21, which has been out much longer than Village. Village just came out, and it's already surpassed MLB The Show. So the gap between Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and MLB The Show, I imagine, is just such a huge gap.
You might be right, but to be fair, I want to say with Village, that's a game that's going to sell like crazy in its first month and then probably like taper off a lot. So,
Yeah.
but that is crazy that it got to number 2 in its first month. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, I think Monster Hunter Rise did that. Um, but now we see it. It's number 5. But I won't skip.
Well, and we're also fucking 5 months into the year now too, which is wild.
Right. Number 3 is MLB. Oh yeah, that's true. 5 months of selling MLB The Show, which is number 3, and Resident Evil still beat it out.
Yeah,
Number 4 is Super Mario World, Super Mario 3D World, which you can't buy anymore.
it's true.
So yeah, that's
That
still
one's just
outselling.
gonna just keep dropping.
Yep.
But I still have a sealed copy.
Yeah.
I never opened it. I bought it. I'm like, I'm gonna play this, and then I'm like, what if I just kept it sealed and I sell it later?
I mean, it could go up in price, but it could also go down in price, just like
Until
this list.
they re-release it.
I know, for
Dude, in
free
10
on
years,
like a
a sealed
64 emulator.
In 10 years, a sealed copy of Super Mario 3D World could be potentially worth a lot of money. Come on,
Potentially. But it's a gamble,
it's a $60 gamble that I'm willing to take.
Hey, yeah. I mean, it's pretty cheap, all things considered.
It's a
Um,
Nintendo game too. Those games never go down in price.
yeah, freaking what is it called? Smash Brothers Brawl. It's still like 50
Brawl?
bucks. Brawl? No, Melee. Sorry, Melee.
Well, yeah,
Melee is still like 50
Melee
bucks.
is one of those games that went down and now it's going back up. But
Mhm.
also, GameCube PS2 is kind of hot in collecting right now. So
Yeah. Next up, number 5, Monster Hunter Rise. Number 6, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, still up there. Number 7, Outriders. That game needs to get the hell out of here.
yeah, that's surprising.
Number 8, and it was 8 for last month, and it's still Mario Kart 8. Stop fucking buying this game.
They just want to keep it at 8th place because it's the 8th Mario Kart.
It's the 8th Mario Kart. Number 9 dropped from number 7, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and number 10, Minecraft. Dude, my nephews are super into Minecraft. So I think the reason why this is up here
Is your
in
cousins.
the first place is my cousins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the kids that this generation, all of the kids are growing to that age where they're just playing Minecraft. And like it's just like a wave of children.
Dude,
some
Minecraft,
reason.
yeah, Minecraft will like be around forever. I'm convinced because it's just such a perfect game.
It's a vanilla game.
I
Like,
know that's like crazy to say, but it's just like the most perfect game ever made. It's Legos.
Yeah,
Like,
it's vanilla. It's super vanilla. Anybody can play it. It does a lot of things. It is.
I'm telling you, me and you and Danny, we should make a server.
I mean, sure. If we can find time to do that, I will do that.
I'll look into it.
All right. What's to look forward to next week? Let me check my calendar.
Oh, here's a big one. And I will
Okay.
be streaming this after we record our Loki spoiler cast on Wednesday at 8:30 Pacific time. Make sure you watch that. Yeah, look forward to that as well. But Enhance just announced that they're going to be doing a open beta for Tetris Effect Connected
Ooh.
cross-platform PS4, Xbox, and PC. So
Wait, through the Tetris Effect like software, or is it a new download that you have to do?
I think if you own Tetris Effect, you should get the free expansion of Tetris Effect Connected.
Nice.
I
And is
think.
that like a limited time thing, or is that?
So I think it's a limited time beta, but that also means that it'll probably release in full in like, a couple weeks.
Pretty soon? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah. Let me look it up, but if you got something else.
I do. Obviously look forward to our Loki shit. We'll mention it again. And F9 is coming out this weekend.
That's true.
So we're gonna watch it. We've got tickets already to an empty theater, but we're gonna be there, and we're gonna have a good time. I have nothing else on my list, on my calendar as of yet. So I bet you 100% something's going to come out like, oh, hey, there's a Sony State of Play coming up on Thursday or something like that. And we're just totally going to miss it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
we'll move on to recent reviews via OpenCritic. We got quite a few. The way that I've started to do this is if your game has more than 30 reviews, if the game has more than 30 critic reviews, then I will put it in this list. Because I'm like, how am I going to clear the chaff? Because some of them have like 2 critic reviews. I'm like, that's not enough. That's not enough of a pool of people. So I'm like, 30 places, 30 critics have reviewed this game. It's probably pretty close to what you'd expect the game to be. We got 3 of them. We got Chivalry 2. It's got an 82 out of 42 critic reviews, so that's doing pretty good. I have no interest in this game. Final Fantasy VII
I'm interested.
Intergrade. Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. I'm also interested in Intergrade. It's funny that you say that. Has 86 out of 54 critic reviews, which is strange because all of the reviews that I'm hearing is like, it's good, it's really good, but it's only like 2 hours long.
Yeah, that's what I anticipated. But you're also buying like the PS5 upgrade, so
right.
Of the base game. So,
and then the last one is Miitopia. It's got a 71 with 36 critic reviews, and the biggest thing about this one is just like, yeah, it's pretty much the thing that you had on your 3DS, but
yeah,
it's no different. It's no different. It just looks better, I guess. That's kind of the general consensus of that. Do you have a question for these lovely people?
Real quickly, it says here starting June 23rd at 8 p.m. Back to Tetris Effect connected here. That's when it'll start. And it goes until July 5th. And the beta will be available to all owners of Tetris Effect. So yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Search for Tetris Effect Connected beta test at PlayStation Store to download it on PS4. Well, there you go. My question is, well, I'm not going to be here next week. So
okay.
My question is, what do you guys expect from EA? I don't know. I'm not going to be here to like answer that question, and we have all the answers. So,
well, Jake has all the answers. He just lets me in on it.
Yeah.
So we won't have the answers next week, but maybe the week after that.
Well, Nick will.
Yeah, but I don't have I could be wrong.
Oh, just text me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what is the question then?
Yeah. What do you guys expect from EA? And PlayStation? I don't
know. Cool. Remember, check out our other LonaCast shows. We do a low-key spoiler cast every Wednesday at 8:30 on Twitch. And then we upload it the next day. So come check us out live, 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Jake does a show with one of our friends, Corey Blaze. It's a podcast called Jake and Corey Podcast. It's pretty good. I've never listened to it. What
really
else we
selling
got?
it, Nick.
Yeah, really selling it.
Really
we're probably going to do something with the Final Fantasy. I always want to say that Fast and Furious.
I definitely plan on doing 9. A car review at the very least. Yeah,
for sure. And then in a few weeks, we're going to do Black Widow probably. So look forward to that when that releases, shortly after that releases. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at fatal_microwave and Jake is at emergencypizza_. And then follow us on twitch.tv/lonercast for all of the behind the scenes bullshit and, stories about our lives and, supporting us and
some Tetris Effect.
And some Tetris Effect that Jake will be
on Wednesday, baby.
On Wednesday. And that's it. That's the show. So goodbye. Have a good life, you fat ass.